All right, here we go. Take number three. So hopefully this one works because the camera keeps glitching and the noise and everything. So hopefully this one works. So happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to One Take Wednesdays. And today I'm going to talk about the power of thought. And this is coming from number one last week, right, with the hat theory and staying present. Number one, and number two is the my week of coaching this week. This week was very busy um, within the mental coaching, prep coaching, and stuff like that, as well as hockey coaching. This past weekend, we had our Quebec 2023 Pee Wee camp. It was great. I haven't been on the ice that much in a long time, so my feet and legs are still killing me. Um, Happy because I actually just got I don't know if it's a promotion or what, but moving from the Lehigh Valley Phantoms up to the Philadelphia Flyers for that tournament, and I'm extremely excited for it. This thing that I want to talk about and the power of thought is coming from um, actually almost all the calls last week. So that's dozen, dozen and a half calls last week, where I had clients come to me and say, "Oh, I'm sad because this, and that." I'm like, okay, very valid thoughts. Where'd that come from? Well, blah, blah, blah. Understand. Can I ask you a question? Did that ruin your time with the other person or with your kids or with this because all you were thinking about was when you weren't going to be with them or the repercussions of something that might or might not happen? And the answer was always yes. How's that staying present? It's not. It's really not staying present. And that's the whole point of life, is to stay present. So the more we put thoughts in our head of, negativity and sadness and these other things, though those thoughts are extremely valid, right? And we need to feel them so that we can have the dichotomy to feel the opposite, the happiness, the fulfillment, and all that. We need to not dwell on the what, the might be, or the negativity, and think of this is a period of time that I get to work on myself for the better. And that's extremely key. You ever heard of somebody say, I had a really bad day? Yet, if you dive into their full day, they maybe had a bad 5 minutes, bad 10 minutes. And that's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen daily. Again, the dichotomy of having the bad with the good is what shows us the difference. So if we've had a bad moment or bad, 15 minutes, we'll say, why does that change our perception of the whole day? Instead of really being able to focus on, okay, for the last 10, 15 minutes, I got to deal with this. But when I look at my whole day, I actually had a really good day. I was productive. I did all these good things. Yet I just had a couple bad minutes. It's because of the power of our thought. As we think negatively, we can stay in that negative thought. As we think positively, we can stay in that area. So staying present is asking ourselves the question, is this really a bad day or is this just a bad 5, 10 minutes? And all these are extremely important to show us the dichotomies of everything. But the more we put negative connotations on things and labels on things, the more our subconscious mind as well as our frontal mind will allow ourselves to stay in that moment. And this comes with all emotions, not just happiness, sadness, uh, all those things. This is why coddling emotions and letting somebody stay in their emotions is extremely bad. Emotions are our check engine lights, and I'm going to get into that in one of these videos. So it's our job as an individual to work through those, not sit in them. Let's see why. What is it internally that we're feeling? And why are we labeling it as such? Because something that might make me sad doesn't make you sad, and vice versa. When we label people as unemotional, bad people, whatever it may be, fat, whatever, you will project that onto the other person. And a lot of times overcorrect it within yourself. And that's not good. Not good at all. So the more you can understand that the way you think projects onto others, that will help you in your day-to-day. So, for example, let's say you're on vacation, right? You're having a great time. Last 2-3 days come and you're like, oh man, I gotta start leaving, I gotta start packing, I gotta start doing this. And that nervousness or the sadness of, oh, this is over, comes in. But yet you still have 2 to 3 days left of vacation. You just lost 2 to 3 days of staying present. Why? The inevitable is going to happen. You're going to leave. Maybe make a checklist to get things done. But the more you think about it 2-3 days out, you're losing those 2-3 days, family, friends, good times, because all you're worried about is leaving. Got to live in the moment. Got to live in the present. Same thing with, again, that labeling of people. I see this all the time, especially in the men's group that I coach. Oh, she's this, she's that. She might be that at times, but you got to stop telling yourself that, because all that's doing is playing into your story. And your story is extremely valid to you. But as you think that, you're going to project that onto them. And then when they maybe make you upset, and you start saying, oh, blah, 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 she's a bitch, she's a this, she's that, it's because you projected that and they're mirroring your actions. So who's really to blame there? Who's really got to take ownership there? You. Me. The whole thought process of this talk today is, if you want to think negatively, that's fine. But just know that you're going to project that onto the other people, and they're going to start thinking negatively. So when you start saying, oh, that person's so negative, so negative, so negative, it's time to look in the mirror. But instead, if you're able to think with gratefulness, gratitude, happiness, and understand that every piece of time is a lesson, even those negative times, and we got to get through those, or we get to get through those, that shows us the dichotomy of the happy times. So as you take a look at the whole rather than the piece, this could be anything, relationship, life, whatever, right? Divorce is rampant right now. Again, like I said to you guys before, went through it 2 years ago, last year. I don't look at the marriage as a failure. I look at it as a period of time that ended. And it ended for the right reasons. There's a lot of good times. There's some bad times. There's a lot of good times. And if I focus on the bad times, or, well, this happened and this is why this is happening now, that's the only thing I'm going to think about. Instead of, it happened, it was a great time of my life, there was lessons to learn, I've learned a lot of them, and I get to use those in the future for future relationships. Don't have to change my course just because something happened. If we can think like that, bring much more happiness to our lives. So for today, my challenge to you is, if you've had a bad moment in time, look at the whole of your day and understand that that was just a bad moment or two. But yet your whole thing is pretty damn good. So I challenge you to do a truth serum multiple times a day. Am I really having a bad day? Or is it just a bad period of time? And with that, happy Wednesday. Love y'all.